The Born to Win podcast highlights individuals excelling at high levels in their purpose and calling. This podcast is for anyone looking to get ahead in life and willing to take action and reach their full potential. Using C.H.A.M.P.S male mentoring model of the 3 E's, education, empowerment, and exposure, it means you too are born to win.
I'm born to win. Live. The Jets from Chicago be screaming all that. You are now tuned in to the Born to Win.
Everybody, this is the Born to Win podcast, and we are back. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
And man, listen. I'm telling y'all, this brother right here, this is my main man right here, Mr. Kareem K.W.O.E, known as K.W.O.E.
What up, boy?
Philanthropist, the author, the teacher, the entrepreneur, the husband, the family man, and more importantly, a good brother that everybody need to know. And so I met this brother a few years ago. I just love his spirit. Why? Is because it was emitting light. He was emitting light. And I said, I got to know that brother. I reached out to him. I'm like, hey, man, I love your spirit. Would you be willing to come in and share with our C.H.A.M.P.S mentoring program? Now, I just want everybody to be clear about this. I don't do that with everybody. As a matter of fact, I don't do that with a whole bunch of people, maybe a handful of people. I've done that too. But this brother right here, I love what he was doing in the community. I love what he was standing for. And more importantly, I just love his heart and his mission. He has a story that is absolutely unbelievable. I can't wait for you to hear his story. But I want to give a Chi-Town West Side welcome to my man, K.W.O.E. What's up, K.W.O.E? How you doing,
what up,
bro?
boy? How you feeling, man? How's everything?
Man, I'm blessed, man. It's good to see you, man. How's everything going so far, bro?
Oh, listen, man. It's been very interesting. It's been a very, very interesting couple months with this pandemic, this whole COVID thing. You know, man, it makes you really realize how short life is, how important life is. You value the little things like being able to go outside without a mask on. You know what I mean? Like just be able to go outside, go inside a grocery store, walk around freely. You know, like it's been a blessing actually in disguise. I know for a lot of people, we've lost a lot of people due to this COVID thing. And that's a very sad thing. And my heart definitely goes out to all the families and people around the nation, that have lost somebody to it. For me personally, it allowed me time, man, to slow down because I was always on the go, always, whether it be speaking out at C.H.A.M.P.S mentoring or speaking on the West Side or whatever, to doing events, doing bar mitzvahs, doing the things that I love and trying to provide for my family and things like that. This has taught me more patience. It taught me how to slow down and really appreciate life.
Yes, sir.
And unfortunately, it was, it's due to a pandemic, but I believe things happen for a reason. Like this is not just by chance. I really believe it with my faith. I don't think this is something that just all of a sudden happened. I think this was by design, that this was supposed to take place.
Man, I'm truly with you on that. And I think it's really important. One of the things that I've been hearing a lot is we need to pivot. We need to, figure out how to do it quickly, how to meet the needs of the people. And one of the ways that I felt like I can add value was to use my voice and my influence to bring in other powerful people to keep folks motivated. It's a lot of mental health issues that are going on. And truthfully, a lot of the young men that we were physically meeting with every Saturday, have expressed like a lot of doubt and a lot of concern. So, number one, I appreciate you giving up your time to come on here. But, I've had the privilege to be in a room with you, to listen to you share your story. And I really want the viewing audience, because, man, there's people all over the world that's going to be watching this or listening to this. And by the way, we are in Apple, Google, we in Spotify, Stitcher. So make sure you subscribe and download it and share it with someone else. But can you just let folks know like who you are and what your story is? Because I just think you have one of the most fascinating stories.
I appreciate that, man. First and foremost, I'm a God-fearing human being. That's what I am, a God-fearing human being. My name is Kareem K.W.O.E. I grew up on the west side of Chicago, in a neighborhood, like you've seen so many times, drug-infested, poverty, a lot of self-hate, a lot of doubt. And it was a lot of love too. But we grew up in a very poor neighborhood, a place where, you can go, you look out your window, you see people selling, you see, gang fights, you see somebody getting shot, you see, pregnant teens, you know what I mean? You see some of everything. And I grew up in a place where it just was not the ideal place and the ideal way to live. Just you go on the west side, Garfield Park area, it just was not the ideal place to live. Grew up in a single parent home, was just my mother, no father. Father never really was in my life. I know he probably loved me. When I think about it, I know he probably loved. I know he did love me. I can just say that, even though we didn't have a relationship or any type of father-son thing. I had an older brother, just me and my older brother, my older brother Boo, and my mother. Growing up on that west side, man, trying to hustle and just trying to be something. Unfortunately, at a young age, I picked up some very bad habits that the community had to offer, because I felt like that was my only option. I know a lot of kids today feel that, so I sold drugs. I beat the pavement. I did what I thought I had to do to survive. What I thought was right. Now as a grown man, I realized I was putting my life at real risk. My morals was not in line. I was disrespecting my mother and my family name, the little name that my mother created. You know what I mean? I was disrespecting, my grandmother and my great grandmother, basically.
Yeah.
So, being in that environment, going to high school. I remember, I'm gonna take one of these out. I remember going to being in high school and just being teased. They call it bullying now, but I remember being teased about wearing the same clothes. Within, like if I wore the same pants on a Monday and had it on Wednesday, It was a big deal. And people made sure they known by, it was like walking into Def Comedy Jam. When you go to all black high school, it's like on the west side of Chicago, it's like Def Comedy Jam every day. Everybody riding everybody, ain't nobody safe. So you got, you grew up to have, some really tough skin, but I made a decision to go in the streets. I met a guy by the name of Chief, Marshall Hill, somebody that I looked up to. He's like a big brother, somebody that believed in me, and gave me an opportunity to go out there and make something myself. And there's a couple other guys like Vess and Al, just people who really influenced me from the neighborhood. No matter how people look at it, the neighborhood heroes wasn't, who people wanted them to be. You know what I mean? Like the neighborhood heroes was kind of like the villains too. They was a hero and a villain at the same time, but that's who we had to look up with, because we didn't have, Michael Jordan didn't live in my neighborhood. You know what I mean? LeBron James didn't live in my neighborhood. It was it was the people you saw every day, and I took it was like it was calling me, because I just wanted something. You feel me? Like just when you really want something, you just like, I gotta get something. So I just got out there, got presented with the opportunity, and I was actually good at it. You know what I mean? And although, it was destroying the community, that's the part I always think about, even when I go out and speak to the kids, that, man, I was selling to everybody, from relatives, pregnant women. I was just like, because I was like, if they're going to do it, they're going to do it. I had the wrong mindset, that lost mindset. And I just thought, hey, I was just trying to have some food, trying to have something for my family. It wasn't about trying to look cool, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't no Instagram then, so took those opportunities and had this big dream of being this big rapper, you know what I mean? While I was doing it, I had this dream of, I inspired to be an artist, which I am today, a recording artist, Yes, I just wanted something. So I took that road, Vondale. I took that road to, I think it's something down there. I'm gonna go. Even though it was a bad road. Yeah. It was a bad road. And I know that God was actually looking after me. I know,
he had to be.
Yeah, I know God was looking after me, man, because to become the CEO of Flow Entertainment, which is an interactive entertainment company, and we specialize in private events, bar and bar mitzvahs, which we book out 3 years in advance, weddings, corporate gigs, super sweet 16s. We provide DJs, dancers, sound lighting. Then I'm a level next music recording artist. So I still write music, got into production real heavy, like music production and just loving music. You know what I mean? Like I was working on something before we got on this call, like just loving music, right? Had a love for that. Then I created a non-for-profit organization, which is the K.W.O.E Foundation. And it's a non-for-profit organization. That's how we met. That's how we really, you and I connected with the whole C.H.A.M.P.S mentoring. And, invested. I also invested in things like real estate and, like little things throughout time. But before I became the king of the mitzvahs, that's really what they call me, the king of the mitzvahs, which is, bar and bar mitzvahs. And if you look at what mitzvah means, if you Google it, when I Google it, what comes up is a good deed due from religious duty. So, I consider myself, the work in the mentorship stuff that I'm doing throughout the communities is my way of giving back and making up for all the things I did wrong in the past. So it's like righting my wrongs with actions. Yeah. So to be able to do that, I'm grateful because I went through a lot of stuff, man, to get here. Mm-hmm. This was not an easy road. Being a high school dropout, what I mean? Having my first kid, 16 going on 17, my first child. I had things like that happening. But I never gave up, like people don't really realize you haven't failed. Yeah. You have not failed unless you give up. That's right. I don't care if you're 60 years old and you want to be a doctor, go to be a doctor.
Go for it.
Go for it. Don't ever quit, because the truth is, Vondale, as we can see from these times, brother, life is short.
Yes.
Life is not like this long. We think that like, hey, he lived 85 years. 85 years is not that long.
Right.
That's really a short time, man.
Exactly.
And I look back at all that time, that time back then, just how I felt as a young black man growing up on the West Side. Like I felt invisible. Yeah. I look back at it, I felt I was invisible. In my head, I was invisible, and I wanted to have something. I wanted to be somebody. I wanted people to notice me. You know what I'm saying? Like just wanted to be known as he's a person. He got feelings, he got emotion. But when you got people teasing you, every day you walk in class, somebody cracking a joke on you about your clothes and your shoes. Your girls really ain't talking to you because you weigh 90 pounds. You're skinny, 90 pounds. Girls not talking to you. You not feeling your mama, even though your mama doing the best she could possibly do for you, and your brother, you complaining, and that's who I was. Lost, like completely lost. And I can admit that. Like what people see today, I always tell me, what you see today, I had to put in some work to get here. This was not overnight. It wasn't, to have real estate and to have, a little bit of money and material things and, have traveled. And I didn't just wake up like this.
Yeah. So I want people to really listen to what K.W.O.E is saying, because there are a lot of young men that are on the south and west sides of Chicago in particular that may feel invisible. They may feel like they're trapped into becoming who their fathers and grandfathers became. And you talked about one time in our C.H.A.M.P.S class, I don't know if it was one of the drug dealers. He was running and through some drugs, and you happened to see it and you got a hold of it. Can you describe what happened?
With Chief, how I even got into the whole thing. It was by chance, right? It was what I call an opportunity. I'm just going, because, and that's something that's a word that I don't care if you 3 years old or you 1,000 years old, you're going to have opportunities come and go throughout your life, and you're going to have to make a decision. A lot of times we think we don't have a choice and we can't make a decision. Truth is, I made a bad decision, but what at the time I thought it was the right one. And that's the truth. So I was coming home from school one day, on my way home from school, and I saw this guy, his car it was on Lake and Hamlin. You know the West Side, you know what that is. That's Independence turns into Hamlin, Lake and Hamlin. And he was turning, and his car fell into one of the like a big hole because they were rebuilding the beams, the structure on the train. And his car fell in, and when it fell in, here come a police car, turn their lights on. He hops out the car and takes off running with this like mini duffel bag, about that big. Takes it, run through the alley and threw it. And I saw him do it, and I went over there, grabbed the bag, took it to our little 2-bedroom apartment on Avis.
Did you know him at the time?
I seen him before, but I didn't know him. Like I saw him. I didn't really know him yet. I didn't even know. I just knew he was somebody from the neighborhood, but I didn't know him.
Yeah.
So I looked around, grabbed a bag. You know me, when you're a teenager, man, you fearless. You just do stuff based on, you trying to just get somewhere. You're trying to just be somebody, So I grabbed the bag, took the bag up, and we had it was a 2-flat apartment building. We lived on the 2nd floor. They had like this little attic up top. And I took the bag up there, man. I opened the bag up. I was like, man, I couldn't believe how much money, the rolls of money, and it was these bundles of packs. Bundles of pack. I opened up one of the pack, and they had individual bundles in there. Like it was like a big pack. Then I opened it up, and it's individual packages. And I'm like, then I opened that up, opened a smaller one up, and it's these aluminum foil packets folded. And I'm like, what is this? You know what I mean? I'm only, 15, the young cat, ain't really, 15 years old, 16. And I'm like, what is this? So I take it to one of my aunties, man. I go to my auntie. I'm like, Auntie Gail, I found this. What's this? She was like, open it up. She's like, boy, that's heroin. I was like, what? She's like, like cocaine, but heroin. I was like, because all I knew was weed. I didn't really know drugs like that. You know what I mean? I just knew, I knew of weed. I knew cocaine existed, but I didn't know nothing about it. Right. So she tells me this heroin because she knew it was because it was in the aluminum foil. She was like, that's heroin. And she's like, where you get this from? I was like, I found it on the street. I didn't want to tell her like the full story. So at this point now I'm scared because I got, not only do I have his money, but I also got these bundles, big bundles of drugs. Mm-hmm. So now I'm panicking. I'm like, I got to find this dude. I got to find him because before he find me, now I'm thinking, what if somebody saw me? What if somebody saw me grab it out the bushes? What does that put me at? You know what I mean? I'm like, this dude gonna come get me. So I'm like, I'm looking for after like 2 days. And if I see him, I went up to him, man, my street smarts. I wasn't, like I said, I was still a teen, early teens, not really knowing. Right. So I went up to him. I was like, look, man, I got something of yours, man. I was like, hey, he's like, hey, man, I know you. Because at the time, I had a high top fade. You know what I'm saying? My hair was up like this, dog. Like, and I was into dancing and stuff. So he's like, man, I know you. We call you High Top. And I was like, what? So yeah,
the whole kid and played the high top.
The High Top. So he's like, yo, I know we call you, man, shorty. We call you High Top. I was like, man, I got something of yours, man. Come with me. He was like, what? You know what I'm saying? He like, he a street cat. He like, come with you. You got something. What? And I was like, no, man, I think you need to come with me, man. He's like, yeah. I said, man, I live right here on the corner, man. I live right here on Hamlin and Fulton. He's like, yeah. He's like, okay. I was like, yeah, my cousin, man. You might know my cousin. He was like, yeah. And then we get to talking. And I was like, come with me. He was like hesitant. And he's like, all right, shorty ain't gonna. So he come with me. I'm like, come on, we got to go up here. So we had to go through the back to get up to that little attic they had connected to the building. So I'm like, we get up there. He was like hesitant. Like I could tell he was like, because it's dark, the lights, it's grimy, what I mean? He like, what the hell is shorty gonna do to me? But I was like, man, I got some. It's like, man, this is yours. I hand him the whole bag, bro. Like, whole bag like this. Dude, I said, he looked at me. He was like, man, shorty, he's like, you had my bag. I said, man, I saw you running from the police. So I grabbed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't want you I just grabbed it because I ain't want you to get no trouble. He's like, did you touch anything? I was like, I touched it, but I ain't spend none of your money. I didn't, you know what I'm saying? I ain't do none of the drugs. I just, I touched it. He's like, you ain't take none of the money. I was like, no, I just left it tucked up in there with all this other stuff. He's like, you know what that is? I said, I do now. He's like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, I do, I'm giving him the real. I was like, I do now. So he's like, he's like, shorty, man, I appreciate that. So he like going through the money, all the money. And I'm talking at the time, it probably was about 15 grand in that bag.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? That was a lot of money to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of money back then, man. So I'm like, yo, like, and then he was like, hey, man. He said, don't you, he was like, cause check this out. So I wasn't old. I wasn't 16 just yet. Like I was 15. I wasn't 16 just yet. It was the summertime. I turned 16 in the winter. So my brother is older than me. He's a few years older than me. So I used his information to get me a job at Burger King on Madison Street, Madison and Pulaski.
Yes, sir.
So I used to go through the neighborhood with the little Burger King outfit on. So they would see me, people in the neighborhood, all the dudes my age, I would see them, they be dressed fresh to death, you know what I mean? Got on the latest Jordans, everything. And I'm like, here I am in a Burger King outfit, back and forth every day. And they riding me, you know what I'm saying? Talking about me, you know what I'm saying? Man, bring us a Whopper back with that when you get back, like stuff like that. And he was like, man, I've seen you walk past a few times, man. He's like, you still work there? I was like, yeah. He was like, you want a job? I'm like, doing what? You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm going to ask because, you
right.
More money. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm thinking like that. I'm like, doing what? He was like, he said, just come. He said, if you serious, come over to blah, blah, blah. Avers and Lake Street. That's around the corner. So it's a square block radius. So Avers and Lake, come on, Lake and Avers, and I'll show you. Man, it was a green light from there. Because when I got out there, I remember my first day out there. This is when we was yelling Rocks Blows Park. You know what I'm saying? We yelling Rocks Blows Park. And I'm like, man, first day out there, I'm scared. Because I don't know if my mama gonna drive up or walk up and see me one day because it's right around the corner from where I live. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, first day out there, man, I remember 12 rolling up and I was like so nervous, man. I threw the packs down the sewer. Threw my pack down the sewer. They didn't even stop. They just went like this. They just drove past. But I was so scared, man.
Yeah.
And then they was like, why you do that, man? Chief was like, why you do that? Why you throw it away? I was like, man, I thought they was coming. You know what I'm saying? I was scary Larry. You know what I'm saying? So they opened the cap of the sewer, took the sewer cap off and hung me down by my feet.
What?
Crap. Yeah.
So it was some other guys working for him or working with him?
Man, we had a whole team of people, man. Everybody from the neighborhood, man. Like all the shorties from the neighborhood, the OGs. Like it was a real tight family, man. You'd have been surprised at how it really was. Them cats really cared, believe it or not, cared about the people in the block radius, the 8 block radius. They really cared about the people, man, on our block, Lake and Avers and Hamlin and Fulton, bro. Right across the street from Garfield people. It was like a family, you know what I'm saying? But and I got opportunity with Chief. It really I became more and more into I gotta get this money. That mentality that even exists today. You know what I'm saying? I gotta get this money. How old
was Chief at that time?
Oh, Chief probably was 27. Okay. He probably like 26, 27.
Okay.
Yeah, 26, 27.
So he became like a mentor to you.
Yeah. He like taught me about, from girls to how you carry yourself in the streets. Like him, Vest, Al, cats that I really believed in. You know what I mean? They were older cats who some of them actually went to college but couldn't afford to stay there. So they came back home and beat the block. That's the truth. Like you'd be surprised. Like, man, I learned so much stuff from them dudes, man. They were my superheroes. I tell people that all the time. You can judge, you can say whatever you want, but there's people out there who own these big liquor companies and their families was bootlegging back in the day. So you can't judge. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not cool to judge like that. I really learned. Everything from those guys, especially Chief, man. He's somebody that really believed in me. Like, I went from being the guy that's talked about in school to like, nah, I'm cool with the Rags family. I'm cool with I'm tight with, and you got that love because you was from that place and from that era. So things started changing. And I started feeling within a year, within that 6 months, turning 16, I started getting cooler with people and I'm getting love. And I was the cat that was loyal. Like I wasn't like, and I didn't get high. and I didn't drink. You know what I'm saying? I only mess that stuff even to this day. I don't. I choose not to. You know what I'm saying? But I became like, I wouldn't say as popular as those dudes, but because they is popular, I got some of that on me. And then I had a lot of respect for people. I wasn't out there acting like I was a tough guy. I wasn't out there doing that. You know what I'm saying? I was just being myself, like really, really, truly being myself with my high top fade and loving dancing, loving music and stuff like that. That's who I was out there. So I went from standing on the block to being at the spot to collecting to, like Chief wanted me off the streets, basically. He didn't want me to stay in that position. So as time passed, now I'm not going to school. Now I hated school anyway. So now it was, I'm going to be out here making money. Why I ain't going to school? Because I'd rather stay up all night to 3, 4 in the morning making money.
Yeah. So what was it like in the household with your mom? I know your dad wasn't around.
Oh, let me tell you.
Did your mom suspect what was going on?
Oh, man, my mother had no clue. When she would come driving or walking down the block, I would run. So she wouldn't even see me. But the lady downstairs, son, was cousins with one of the OGs, right? And so the mother told my mother, you know what your son is out there doing, right?
Okay.
So that's how my mother really found out. And she told my mother that I was trying to get her son to be out there with me. But the truth was her nephew and her son was already out there. You know what I'm saying? Out there with me already getting it in. Like, you know what I mean? Before me. And so my mother told me if I don't want to come home and be in the house at a certain time, because you had a curfew still. I'm 16 years old, 16 going on 17 now. And my mother is like, you don't want to come in my house and be in here at my hours. The door is locked at this time.
Right.
You don't want to be here, don't come back. And I did just that, bro. I was a fool. I was a fool, like a complete fool. I look back at it. I was a complete fool. I actually left and never went back. Me and my mother laugh about that to this day. Whenever we talk, like I'm talking about old time.
How old were you at that time?
At that time, I was 16 going on 17.
Okay. So it was a pretty quick turnaround.
A quick turnaround. It was a super quick turnaround, man. Like getting out there, everything was fast paced. So it was like time just went fast. And next you know, the school is like, he ain't coming, he ain't this, he ain't that. Now I'm 16 going on 17. I'm like, I ain't going. I ain't forget that. My mother I'm going house to house. I call it the couch tour. One of my boys say that it's called the couch tour. I got that man. So I call it the couch tour. I was just sleeping on people's couches and staying at their cousins and relatives, whatever day I could, just maneuvered. I had money, I had some clothes, but I couldn't get no apartment or none of that kind of stuff. You know what I mean? Like, so I was just like going wherever, I could lay my head. And my mother was just like, okay, but then them girls come into the picture. The ladies come into the picture. Yeah. So met a girl, hooked up with her, not having safe sex and not being protected, got her pregnant. Now I'm kicked out of high school, selling drugs.
How did you get kicked out of high school? Was it just truancy, not showing up?
Not showing up. And then they start going like, he can do the work. Cause I was this student. This is the student I was. I could come there, read up real quick while I'm in there. Cause I had a memory like that. Like read up what we got to do the test on for like 20 minutes. And then I take the test and I'm passing it. So they like, he get decent grades. How he's just not coming. He's not. And then he coming, I would go late to every class. That's because I was so tired from being up all night and trying to go to school. I'm up to 3, 4 in the morning and you got to be at school at 8:30.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, come on. Like, so it was something was going to give. And I chose, like a dummy, I chose the streets. I was a fool. You know what I'm saying? Like, I admit it. I was a fool, chose the street. Even though I was making money and moving forward, what I thought was making money and moving forward, I made that decision to get with a girl. We didn't have protected sex. And you know what comes with that? Now I'm a statistic, a teen father. So now I got a baby on the way. So the hustle is getting real, real, real. Because I'm like, my baby not going to be how I was. You know what I mean? Feeling about my father. I swore to myself, I'm not going to let that. I ain't going to let that happen to me. Like, not my baby. My baby going to see me. So I got to do whatever I got to do. So I went harder in the paint. I didn't turn away from it, not even realizing the more I got into it, the more I did it, the deeper I was going to be in it.
Yeah.
And I'm sitting there loving music, Vondale. I'm loving music. I'm doing all that. And Chief is seeing this in me. He's seeing like, boy, you got some potential there. I see potential. Like, you can't, this ain't for you. You know, he started turning into that. And I'm making money with him. Yeah. I'm making money with him. Like making money for him with him. He my boy. Like, I look up to him. But he like, yo, after some time passed, he like, you a little older now. You getting deep, like, this ain't for you.
When did you have that conversation about how old were you when he kind of stopped and paused?
When he paused, I was about almost 20.
Okay. Almost 20.
Almost 20.
About what, 30?
Yeah. He was like 10 years. He was like 10 years older than me. Yeah.
Okay.
So he's telling me like, yo, this ain't for you, man. Like, you know, he's like, man, I'm like, man, what you talking about? This ain't for me. You know how you are. It's like a complaining kid. And you're like, what you mean this ain't for me? He did everything for you. Showed you how to get money. Now he's telling you something positive because he's seeing something positive in me. You know what I mean? Yeah. He's like, yo, this boy is on the corner rapping, always talking about music, loves to dance. He got a talent. So as time passed, you know, a little bit more time passed. I'm a little older now. She telling me like, yo, now you over 21 now. This ain't for you. You got to, He's like that. Like you can't do this no more. And I thought he was joking. He was like, no, you need to continue, because I was pursuing the music while I was doing 1 foot in and 1 foot out, for the love for music, trying to do the whole recording thing and fund myself. Chief was like, nah, I got you. You're going to move over here. You're going to go inside this apartment. I'm going to pay for a year. You got to do 3 things. Go back to school, get a job, pursue your music. He told me 1 of 3. Pick one of the. I picked 2. And you know me. I went with music and I got a job because I didn't want to go back to school. I didn't have love for school. And that's just the truth. And that's something that a lot of people have to accept when teenagers or people say that they don't like school. That don't mean they don't have to go. But you got to find out, well, what can you do if you don't want to go to school? You got to have some, because life is real. So Chief was like, so gave me them opportunities that I thought he was joking at first, to be honest with you. And got a job at the East Bank Club downtown, which is like a ritzy country club. And all the celebrities went to, all the top lawyers and doctors and people with old money, new money. That's where everybody went that had some money. And I was working as a busboy in the grill of the East Bank Club. And they call it EBC. And that's what I did, man. I was a busboy. And I had a child, met another girl. You know how that story go. You know, now I got 2 kids. You know what I mean? Like, what was I thinking? I was a fool for having those kids out of wedlock. I was a fool. I said to my grown daughter right now, I was a complete fool. What was I thinking? But I'm grateful. I'm grateful for those experiences. But I worked that job as a busboy. I pursued my music, man. I was trying to get in every studio. Met a guy by the name of Ivan Dupay, who was just a real genuine guy who did music for radio and television. Black educated, black man educated. You know, I saw a whole different side. And I met him through a friend at the East Bank Club. You know, me, I was always really about how can I be better and do better? How can I be better? And once I got out of that 8-block radius, I started realizing there's so much more out there for me. And to go downtown and be working downtown as a busboy, mind you, I wasn't making no big money, but I got to see so much other things, so many other things that I probably would have never saw. And I know I would have never saw that if I would have never got out of the hood.
So was it easy for you to transition out of the street life and listen to Chief tell you, hey, I'm going to get you a place to live. These are your options. Choose one of these 3 options. How was that for you? Were you able to make that transition from like selling to actually working?
I had it wasn't easy to make that transition, but I had no choice. When you got somebody like Chief telling you, and you know that's somebody that looked out for you when you didn't have a crumb, who put you in and taught you how to do it, and to pull you out and say, because you got a talent, that was his way of saying he loved me. There was an action. He showed the action of how much he loved me. But now and I had to listen to him because he was an OG and because he was somebody that I respected. So he saw something that I didn't. I always wanted more, even as a kid. I wanted something, and I had to take that. I was always like, I'm gonna make this happen. And once I took the baby steps and put in the work, Then it was like, yo, I'm a busboy. Met another girl from the suburbs. She tells me, yo, you can make more money waiting tables. You got the personality. So while I'm doing these little Parks District shows, performing, open mics, doing all this stuff, I meet another girl. She tell me, yo, why you busting tables? You should be waiting them. You make way more money. So she was basically telling me, you don't need the middleman. You don't need go straight to the waiter. Because I was getting busboys got their money from the waiter.
Yeah.
It's like, yo, like why am I dealing with him? I can get the client, get the customer. Just like on the street, go straight to the source. Exactly. Straight to the source, be the waiter. You know, so I became a waiter at Baker Square and Wilmette, man. I was waiting tables. I was pursuing my music thing and got the opportunity to learn customer service through waiting tables. How you really treated a person when they walked in a restaurant determined how you got your money. So I saw how that process and that standard operating procedure was. I was like, yo, I'm going to study the best person. It was a lady by the name of Barbara, this Polish lady, big, thick accent. She was the best one in Baker Square, man. I'm talking about detail. But she got your water first, your salad, super salads first, took your order, took another tapes and get your water. She was so quick. And I was like, yo, I got to be like her, but I'm going to take it up a notch. Since I can write songs and stuff like that, I'm going to try to remember this menu by heart. And when people sit down at my table, I ain't writing nothing down. I'm going to memorize everything. And that's what I did, bro. I wanted to stand out from how she was doing. And then she was like the one, because she was older than me. And I was number 2 there, man. I was waiting them tables, make it out. And I was the only brother there. Yeah. So when you faced with something different, I'm the only black dude there. Yeah. I took full advantage of it. It's like, yo, I'm going to show them that I'm the best at this. I'm going to be the best waiter in here. Yeah. And I did that. And when you in a more well-off area like Wilmette, there's money out there to be made. There's opportunity. There's that word again. It's opportunity. All of it was an opportunity. Now, whether it was a good opportunity or a bad one, that's for the eye to behold. But it was truly opportunity. And I saw that. Just like getting with Ivan, the lady, and it's about relationships, good relationships. So the lady, Sherry Riley, that I met at the East Bank Club, who was a jazz singer, who was a waitress, one of the waitresses at the East Bank Club. And I met her through a model, this girl who used to model. They were friends. And she introduced me to her. She got me the job at the East Bank Club. So Sherry Riley, now years past, Sherry's getting bigger and bigger in the jazz circuit in the music industry. She knows a guy by the name of Richard Patterson. Richard Patterson's a famous bass player for a lot of people, from Roberta Flack to just a lot of people. He is from Chicago. He's tight with a guy by the name of Ivan Dupay, who owns the top black-owned jingle house, music production house for radio and television, doing jingles. She knew him, and he produced Boys and Men, Water Runs Dry, the remix. And that was a remix that I loved. It was like one of them hard bass driven, and he was right in Chicago, black man. So it was about my relationship. So Sherry introduced me to Richard. Richard was cool. We were cool. He had me come in. I had the opportunity to meet Ivan. And this is all while I'm waiting tables, all while I'm trying to be somebody, man, trying to do something with my life. So now I'm like, man, I could do this music thing. Like met with Ivan. Ivan was super cool. He was God-fearing, on fire for the Lord, man. Mm-hmm. God-fearing, educated, and knew music like you would not believe. To this day, is a gorilla. To this day, we still together. He don't own 11. We still looking for fresh talent and doing all that stuff together to this day. And not only that, he's a dear friend. So all of these relationships and opportunities were coming to me, being presented to me. So I know that only came from God. That was not me because I'm cute and handsome and I'm super talented. That ain't how it worked. It was God. And I know it. And I know it. So think about this, Vondale. I got all these things I want to do. I could have stayed in the game and probably either been dead or in jail. That's that's what it is. That's the reality. Dead or in jail. Yeah, and the ones that get out, you make it out. So I'm glad I made those decisions, even though I had 2 kids, married out of wedlock, high school dropout, waiting tables, doing music. I was doing everything you could think of just to be somebody, just to make it. And I didn't have to do anything that risk my life. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't risking my life anymore. So that changed. But then another change happened in my life. And this would change everything forever. This is how I got to being the king of the mitzvahs. This is how I got It will push me to those things. So I'm now waiting tables, pursuing my music downtown with Dupe Productions and Level Next Music. To now I get another call from my half brother. My father had close to a room with 25 kids. I get a call from my half brother, and I would see him from time to time. I knew he was my half brother. Name is Jamal. Jamal I used to see every now and then when I would be going to like a club. I would see him and I'd be like, where you coming from, man? He was like, man, we just got to do this event. And I would always be sweating. Every time I see him, I'm like, we just got to do this event. Okay, cool. I'm like, what is it? He's like, we do these events, man. Bar mitzvah. I ain't know what it was.
Yeah.
So he calls me one day. Hey, K, check it out, man. We need a dancer, man. I know you downtown. You working at that little studio there. I know you down here. Can you throw on all black and come through, man, and work this party? You'll get paid. I was like, how much is the pay? He's like, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, cool. Where's that? He was like, Excalibur, the nightclub. And I'm like, Excalibur. When is it? Saturday. Like, come on through, man. Like, we really need you. Cool. I get over there and I see adults and kids inside the nightclub. And I know that's a nightclub. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, yo, why are these kids in here? What? Wait, hold on now. I get in there, all these adults and kids. I'm like, so this place ain't open for nobody else but them? It's like, yeah. So I go upstairs, go up them long stairs, get up there. Man, it was smacking up there, man. Kids jumping around singing, adults, the mothers, it was, 300 some people. I go to the guy that owned the company, like, yo, man, what is this, like his Sweet 16 or something? He's like, no. I said, what? No, I said, what is this, like his 50th birthday party? I was pointing at the father. I was like, it's just like his 50th or something like that. He's like, no, it's his son's party. He's 13. His son's party. He 13. Yo, I'm like, what? Like, what? This is what? So then I danced the party, saw how it worked, and the guy was like, man, you were amazing. He tipped me, had me a little 50 piece. I was like, I got tip. What? I knew what tips was because I'm waiting to tell you. I'm like, we get a tip? And I get a check from this dude. You gonna pay me this? And it's on Saturdays and they don't interfere with anything I'm trying to pursue during the week. He was like, no. It's like, cool. He called me up on Monday. He was like, man, you got requested from the party you was on for a party that we doing next week. Can you do it? It's like, as long as it don't affect me trying to pursue this music and working at this way, I'm like, I don't mind making more money. I don't mind making more money to take care of my kids. I do anything for my kids. So I'm like, whoa. And I got into that. Went from dancing on bar mitzvahs, Vondale, to MCing them. The guy hands me, mind you, I'm a rapper. So I know how to, you know what I'm saying? I know how to do that. But it was a formula to this whole thing.
Got it.
Not just getting on the mic and yelling, yo, yo, yo. That's not it. It's formalities. It's understanding what's taking place each time on your timeline. So I had to learn all that stuff and became an MC with that guy. Now, while I'm doing this, while I'm dancing on these bar mitzvahs, I get the call that would change, another call that would change everything. And this call changed how I viewed everything. Chief was going to jail. Got caught up. Chief went to jail. Changed everything. The apartment that he paid for me, that he was doing, every change. And that apartment was in a different neighborhood. Chief put me up, took me out of the neighborhood into another, just so I wouldn't be around that.
Right.
He did that. You're going to be over here. Now you need to be over here away from all. He wanted to make sure I was out there, but you had to get them to get that job, get the job, go back to school. And I'm looking at that and I go, oh man, this brother's in jail. I had never experienced that one. You heard about people going, but they wasn't the OGs. They wasn't the cats that you really. So he goes in, and now I really got to put it in. I'm like, oh man, I gotta really go. So I start going hard with everything.
So what happened to everybody else around that was working with Chief or working?
They were still Chief? Some of them. A few people got knocked off. A few people from their lives to going to jail. And a lot of them cats started getting into real estate, like the OGs did. Start getting into other things that was away from that world. But he's in there, and it's a real case. But so by the grace of God, some favor, If God show favor to everybody, I believe that. I don't care what you're going through. You get favor when he wants to give you favor. No man has control of you getting favor. Right. So he got some favor and he got let out. He had to go to a halfway house on the west side. He had to stay there. He was released on the weekends, but he had to stay during the week and report in and go to school. So he enrolled in DeVry and got out. And that was just a hard time seeing him in that place. But we would hang out and go up north to some of the bar like the Wild Hair, and we would go out. He got out on the weekend, you know. And one day, you know, after doing that for like 8 months, I got a call from his girlfriend, you know, 3, 4 in the morning. She was just like, you know, Kareem, what's up? You know, and I would talk to Chief like every single day. Like, you know, every Thursday, Friday, he'd come be like, yo, I'm gonna see you this weekend. We're gonna, you know, it was always like that. And this one particular time he gave me a call and I hadn't thought nothing of it really. He gave me a call and he was just like, he's like, man, you know, what's up? He's like, man, I was like, man, we're gonna hook up this week. He said, man, things is messed up. Just real low tone, like, yeah, things is messed up. I'm like, what you mean things is messed up, man? What you mean things is messed up? He's like, things is messed up, man. I just want to say, I love you. And I had never heard him say verbally he loved me.
Okay.
Verbally, like, I love you. He always showed me. His actions showed me when I needed something, he was there. His actions just always constantly showed me that he loved me. But this is the first time I actually heard him say, I love you. Things is messed up. I was like, what you talking about? Things messed up? No, man, I'm doing these bar mitzvahs. I'm working at the studio. We gonna be good, man. I'm gonna be like Puff and be like Jay-Z and them. Don't worry about nothing, man. We ain't gonna ever have, you know, I was on that. You know, I knew he was in the bride. I knew he was trying to change his thing. But, you know how the streets go. When you reach a certain level in anything, people try to knock you down or whatever the case may be. They may do whatever it is that they to bring you down. Or to dethrone you, whatever you want to call it. But this particular Sunday morning, it was like 5 a.m. I get a call from Chief's girlfriend. Kareem, you know, when was the last time you talked to Chief? I was like, I just talked to him on Friday, you know, like Thursday, and we was going to hook up like on the weekend like we usually do. And she's like, he gone. It's like, Kareem, I got to tell you, he gone. I was like, he went back to jail. He got caught up, but he was trying to, what you mean he gone? They locked him up. She's like, no, he dead. So that is when everything for me changed. And I talk about this. You've heard me speak on these things, on this before. It changed everything about me. I became a man when I heard that. Because I was faced with some man decisions. And that's when she told me. I remember hopping out of the bed, going to grab illegal things, to go do something illegal to whoever did it. I was in that space, in that mindset. I was so angry, hurt, crying, the whole 369. You know, I didn't walk around with no rest in peace t-shirt on because it was on my heart. So his rest in peace is on my heart. And I was just like, what am I going to do? I'm gonna kill whoever did it. I don't care who it is. I don't care if it's a woman, man, kid. They gonna pay for this. Right. They shot him multiple times in his face and left him dead in the alley. And that was horrific for me, man, because I had never experienced that. And then his mother had,
when he died.
Oh, Chief was, so that was a few years later. So he had to be at least, I want to say like 32. I got it in my phone. I go, it'll come up when his birthday come up.
32.
And
Wow.
Yeah, he was young, man. And he, it was just one of those moments where you really realize like you could really hate somebody off of something like this. You could really start hating and really despising people because of them killing him the way they did. Didn't take his money, didn't take his laptop, his chain, little chain around was there, nothing. Left him there. It was a straight up hit or whatever it was. And once I, had to come to grips with it after the funeral, I just said, I'm gonna go even harder now. I'm gonna make him proud. I took on that. I'm gonna honor him. I'm gonna honor him by doing what's right. Yeah. And I ain't going back. I don't want no parts of the streets. I'm gonna always support my family and relatives and things like that, but I don't want no parts of the street life. Let me say that. No parts of the street life. And it changed everything. It elevated me to a level, to a place where I felt like he was a true angel now. He was truly guiding me like he was here in the flesh. Because when you leave, your body is left here, but your spirit is out. It goes somewhere. And I believe angels were watching over me. And when this happened, it gave me a strength that nothing in this world has ever given me. Nothing. I can't think of any moment outside of my children being born and getting married. I can't think of anything that's ever given me that type of power outside of God giving me that, that supernatural power. So in the flesh, he gave me a strength like you wouldn't believe. God's supernatural power was given to me, and it helped me make wise decisions when the opportunities came. I'm glad I took the opportunity, but that's why I have no regrets. When it comes to making a decision, I have no regrets. What I did to the community, what I did to relatives, just the neighborhood, I'm sorry for that. And I'm looking at the camera and say this to all the people that's watching this. I do this when I go to the schools, when I go and speak. I'm sorry for all the things I did back in the day, and the cats before me, what they did back in the day, because it really made things the way they are for you guys today. And I'm sorry. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. And I'm always say that. That's why I go so hard to this day, Vondale. When it comes to doing these bar mitzvahs, when I go there and I do these parties, I'm in my genius. And when you hear I say that with a humble heart, I'm in my genius, and I'm gonna be the very best in my shoes. When I go do a bar mitzvah or I do a business deal, it's gonna be with integrity. It's gonna be with love. It's gonna be, I'm gonna do it to the best of my ability. When I do my music, I'm really trying to do everything to the best of my ability. And with life, you're gonna get 600,000 no's in your life.
That's right.
But if you don't give up, it was never really a no.
Yeah.
It was a not right now. And I believe that.
And delay does not mean denial.
That's right. That's right. 100%.
Does not mean denial. And if you watching this is a very sobering story of how a young man who could have ended up dead or locked up, right, was put on game by Chief, who he looked at as a mentor, as an OG, guided him through a struggle, but then led him out to the land of Canaan, the promised land. And that's very, very, very powerful. And so now he has the motivation and inspiration to right his wrongs. And I just want to say this, man. I commend you. I respect you. I honor you. And we as a community, as a village, we forgive our brothers. We restore our brothers. Why? Because we can be you. There's some young men right now who are feeling trapped. They feeling stuck. They don't feel like, there's no way out, that they have to continue to go down this path. And that's why C.H.A.M.P.S mentoring exists, is because what my mentor was able to do for me, he told me the way that you pay me back is not through money, but the same thing I did for you, do for somebody else. And listen, you're not above the grace and the love of God, the forgiveness of God. I don't care who you are, what you've done in your past. There is redemption. There is hope for you. And my prayer is that you will utilize and attach yourself, just like K.W.O.E did. He attached himself to his passions, and that drove him to say, you know what, I want more. And unfortunately, a tragedy happened where Chief was taken away. But notice how even that bad perceived situation turned into positive for him. So all along, it was a sacrificial lifestyle that Chief wanted K.W.O.E to have. He saw something in him that he wanted to protect because he knew he would be doing the things that he's doing today. And yeah.
Pandemic. I've had some tragedy happen during this pandemic.
Yes, sir.
My son's girlfriend lost her life, Yazi. April 15th.
Mm-hmm.
And it wasn't until the coronavirus. You know, she was using the restroom, stood up, fainted, suffocated, hit her throat on the tub and suffocated. And
Jesus.
this was somebody who's one of my dancers in my company. This was like a family member. Her and my son were super close. She was close with my company, my wife and I, you know, and we were just talking about the night before she passed, we were just talking about, you know, she had said to me, you know, she was just, she had so much value, so much more value for life and being able to just go outside. And she couldn't wait till the pandemic was over so she can get back to doing events and, you know, just living a life and living life to the fullest. And we didn't know that would be her last, you know, that would be my last conversation with her. And what's interesting about life is things happen for a reason, and you can't explain them sometimes. Because when Kobe died in January, right?
Right.
Passed away in January. We were sitting at one of my company flow rehearsals, and we were in a circle. And I do this often just so that we can stay spiritually connected and not be driven by making money. You know what I mean? So we have these powwows, right? And we were all sitting in a big circle, everybody, all the dancers, the DJs, everybody. And I was, you know, talking about how life is short. We have to value one another while we're here because we don't know when one of us is going to go. And it's going to happen. And we said this, right? And this is before we found out about Kobe. So we're sitting in this circle, my son, all the dancers, everybody, and I'm doing my talk. And then all of a sudden my son yells out, "Oh my goodness, Kobe dead." Everybody was like, "What?" I had just got through talking about how short life was, blah, blah. And it was like, and then when we all started like kind of grieving about Kobe because it just happened, then after that, like maybe 30 minutes later, I was like, y'all don't forget, life is short.
Sure.
We got to love each other. We don't know when we're going to see each other, blah, blah, blah. And now fast forward just a couple months, Yazi's gone.
Yeah.
She's the first one to leave. We said we didn't know who in this room was going to leave this earth first. And here it is during a pandemic where no funeral, no, like this has been, but I believe in the positive of it.
Yeah.
God makes no mistakes. Things happen for a true reason. And it was to get me, I believe, to slow down, tap even harder into my family because I was always doing for others, even outside of my family. I was out there doing more. You know how it can be. It consumes your time and takes away from you. So it slowed me down and I had to go through this. And now it allowed me to be a father to my son more. Be there for my son because what he's going through, because he was with her the night before, like 12:40 in the morning with her. And they found her at 9 in the morning. So he was with her hours. So it allowed me to come closer with my son, even closer during this time. Closer with my wife, my 4-year-old, my oldest, Alexis. I ain't thinking about no business right now. Because God got me. And I know it's here. And I know God got me. He going to take care of my businesses. Now, I'm going to use my godly wisdom, but I'm not rushing to go and do an event. I'm not excited to go. I'm not like, let me go. It's like, I'm on God's time.
That's right.
I will properly prepare. And like you said early in the beginning, you're going to come out new. You need to come out of this pandemic new. And the whole country needs to come out and be prepared for greatness. So if you've ever seen these letters right here, they stand for know your genius, work to be unstoppable, own your action, explore the world. And I'm telling y'all, these words, this acronym, it's more meaning to this acronym than it has ever been. And I suggest everyone tap into their genius. I really think that everyone needs to do that. This is the time. There is no, you can't do it. There is no, it's not possible. Anything is possible. I can be here today and be labeled the king of the mitzvahs, and I'm in a predominantly Jewish business. And I'm considered the king of the mitzvahs. And I'm booking 3 years out, and I'm doing music. You can't tell me that this little boy from the west side of Chicago is in this space just because I'm breathing. No, it's because God had a plan for me, and I put the work in. I listened to, I noticed the opportunities, and I took them. And for those of us that think we don't have opportunity, if you're watching this right now, you got opportunity. If you're trying to get somewhere, reach out to Vondale, reach out to C.H.A.M.P.S mentor. Hit your boy Core up on Instagram. Hit me up and reach out to me. That's opportunity.
Absolutely.
Don't expect nobody to do the work for you.
Absolutely. And as I shared with Quo, you know, during this time of bereavement, our prayers and thoughts are with you and your family. You know, he alerted me when it happened, and my heart just went out just because it didn't seem like it was a planned death. And I don't think anybody death is planned, but you know, this is somebody who's young and vibrant. We think that we have all of this time, and we don't. And that's why we have to live every day as if it's our last day. But speaking of which, Quo, the acronym is really, really powerful. If you had a billboard, what words would you put on your billboard if millions of billions of people were going to ride past and see these words? What words would they be?
It would be these letters on my hat.
Yeah.
It would be K.W.O.E. And it would tell you what it would be. Know your genius. Work to be unstoppable. Own your actions. Explore the world. And guess what, Vondale? I don't even want my picture up there. I just want the letters. The true. I don't need my face on it. Just the word. That's why I wear this hat so proud. And it's not a Nike hat. Because it has meaning to real purpose. To know your purpose. Man. To know your genius. To travel the world. To do all these things. Man, listen. I'm in a space where after this pandemic, nobody needs to want to be famous. No one, because you don't have to be famous to be a success.
That's right.
You don't have to have millions of dollars to be a success. That's all been a lie. We are all human beings. And the people that have money can get coronavirus. The people that don't, short, fat, skinny, tall, black, white, green, yellow, can get it. I think even animals can get it, if I'm not mistaken. So for me, I'm a spirit before I'm even human.
That's right.
And we have to move like that. We have to move in the spirit. And a lot of times people go, oh, religion. I ain't even talking religion.
Yeah.
We're spirit first. We get trapped in this shell, Vondale. We get trapped in this stuff, all this stuff. You know what I mean? We get trapped in that. We forget what's making us move, what's making us look and see. Even if I'll tell an atheist in a minute. The first thing you yell out when something happens to you, oh my God. That's if you don't believe in God, you shouldn't even be saying the word.
Right.
You know what I mean? If you really don't believe in God, don't even say the word.
Yes, it's hard to ignore the fact that the spirit is moving all around us. He's omnipresent, omnipotent, and omniscient. He's all powerful. He's all knowing. He's all seeing. He's everywhere, all at the same time. And I'm just, again, grateful to be able to break bread with you, my brother. I'm so grateful that the enemy didn't take you out. I'm so grateful that Chief was used, whether he realized it or not, by God to preserve your life. And I'm so glad that you made the choice to listen and to heed and to actually do your part. And again, the Born to Win movement is about shifting in an environment where anyone who wills, let them come.
That's right.
Doesn't matter what your story is, what your background is, what you're going through in your current life. We want you to take the advice, the stories, the experiences, and apply them in your situation. So I want to thank my man, Quo. Give us any last words you want to share, and then we're going to close out.
Yes, I want to say this. Having a good team, a good support system, like I have Stephanie Fields, my daughter Alexis is on my management team, helps with the Quo brand, the Quo group, helps me manage and run everything. My wife, having a good support system is something that you have to have, even in your community. Even, I ain't talking about with no job or no business. I'm talking about in family. So for me, I would say a few things, and I'm gonna make it quick, bro. I would say dream big, never give up. always give back. And then I would say, live by these 5 F's. And in this order: faith, family, friends, fun, finance.
Boom.
Faith, family, friends, fun, finance.
Boom.
Period. That's it.
That's it. So we're going to leave out with that. Thanks once again for everybody tuning in. Make sure you share. Make sure you subscribe. This was so sobering.
Thank you for listening to the Born to Win podcast. Would you consider making a donation to C.H.A.M.P.S? We are looking to provide senior class care packages and other essential items like food, hygiene, and toiletries for the families of our C.H.A.M.P.S mentees. You can donate via Cash App at $CHAMPS Mentoring or PayPal at paypal.me/CHAMPS Mentoring. Or you can always visit our webpage, champsmentoring.com, and click on the donate button. Thank you. C.H.A.M.P.S, all in. C.H.A.M.P.S, all in. C.H.A.M.P.S, all in. Every setback is a setup for greatness. Every failure is a ladder towards greatness. Every goal is applied towards my greatness. Every life experience enhances my greatness. Every task perfects my greatness. The divine guides my greatness. I am greatness in the making. C.H.A.M.P.S.